Yeah, I want you to kind of take us through your football journey from where you started all the way up until
Yeah.
now.
Let's see. Well, grew up around football, loving it and everything. I didn't really play that much. Started my freshman year, started kicking, made a 50 and went on Sports Illustrated on their Instagram or whatever as a freshman. So that kind of felt good. So I was like, yeah, maybe I keep doing this. So I kept doing it throughout high school. I played linebacker and I liked linebacker a lot more, but I got to stick to what I'm good at. So kept kicking. Got offered from Oregon, and then on signing day, I got my scholarship pulled because they had a corner flip, so they needed a scholarship free, and I was that guy. So didn't end up going there, and ended up walking on as a preferred walk on with a uh, promise a scholarship
Hmm.
going to Arizona State, and that really never happened. A bunch of stuff happened there that it's all well and done with, and now I'm here. Now I'm in Colorado, and I can't be more blessed to be here.
Yes. Can you talk about what the training routine as a college kicker is?
Yeah, so we do everything with the team. I mean, the same as the team. Right now, we get in a little earlier, so we're not lifting in the offensive defensive groups. We're lifting as a special teams group, but we get in there early so that we can get more work in while they're getting their work in. So for me, that is I kick around 3, 4 times a week, and specific days will be devoted to specific things, whether it's more field goal heavy, more kickoff heavy. And then on those days that I'm not kicking, I'm getting in drill work and working on my body and extra stuff like that. So I would say my regimen is pretty much every day is workout, run, kick, or do something involved with kicking for and stretch and all that stuff. I got big list on my locker room wall of what to do. Yeah.
Do you have a most memorable game that you've played in, and tell us about that?
I think my most memorable game was in high school. I
Mhm.
had two safeties, three sacks, I think
Oh wow,
12 solo tackles and three field goals.
that's crazy.
So
In one,
it was a nuts game. I got Cardinals player of the week for that game. Yeah, it was fun. That was a fun game.
how do you balance playing a college sport and then also with your academic life? Mhm.
It's tough, but not really. Like, I mean, if you work at it and you're like going to get it done, it's not too bad. Like when you start like diddle daddling around and not like touching stuff and kind of leaving it to the last day, then it's going to get tough. It's all going to pile on you and you're going to have busy days. But if you get a chunk of it done in a day, in an hour, do whatever, it's not too bad.
How do you handle the pressure behind a kick, especially when it's like in a game-winning situation?
Uh, it's tough. I would say repetition. And I think that's a lot of what guys don't see in the kicker position is that a lot of our reps are mental reps.
Hmm.
It might not be physically exerting, but in our head, like we have to think the exact same way. We have to get everything lined up the exact same way. And so to be able to be calm and collected when going into that game winning kick. So a lot of the stuff we do is between the head. For kicking, I would say it's about 70-30 in the mental versus physical aspect of the game. So I would say being able to have your mental reps and be confident enough in yourself that you can do that kick going into those things makes it easy because then you're lining up as it's just another kick and you're not thinking about, oh, this is a game winner, oh, this is a 56-yard kick, oh, whatever. As soon as you get that in your head, you start to lose it. And so I think going into those, approaching it is just another kick, just another thing that you are designed to do. Like that's how you handle that pressure in those situations.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about a time where you've experienced failure and how you've come back from that?
I would say my time at ASU. Like I went in there uh knowing I could beat out and win the job and knowing I was promised a scholarship. And my first year, I know I didn't kick as well as I needed to show off for the coaches. And there was he really took me under his wing and helped me with my kick and knew I had the ability to be better. So I would say my 2 years there, I worked my butt off, but I didn't get to the point where I wanted to be. So that was my biggest failure, but it also turned into my biggest asset being able to come here. And it's something that I think in the grand scheme of things, I needed to go through to understand more about myself and more about my kicking and more about what makes me tick and what makes me be better.
Hmm.
Do you have any pregame routines or superstitions that you follow?
Um, yeah, I would say the sheet I go through in my head of kicking, I go out beforehand and I'll make my steps from my favorite spots and I'll map out the air. I'll go and feel the air on both sides and see how it's coming in the stadium. Uh, what else do I got? It used to be. I used to wear gloves like my dad. That used to be my thing. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing it, but I'm definitely gonna wear the wristbands like he used to wear. So that's definitely my pregame thing. It's like game ready stuff. Yeah.
Even
I know you mentioned linebacker before, but if you could play any other position besides a kicker and a linebacker, what would it be?
Hmm. Um, that's a tough one. I probably would have to go the special teams route just for longevity in NFL.
Mhm.
I'll take if I was as good as I was at kicking as a snapper, I would take that because snappers have 16-year long careers if they're good. So I'll take 16 free years in the NFL. I'll take that.
Wow.
So you just mentioned about possibly being a long snapper if you had to choose a different position. How important would you say working with your long snapper or holder, and
Oh,
how important is building a relationship with
It's
them?
it's one of the most important things, and I think that's why special teams units on team like on any team has the best group of guys. They're the most close group of guys on a team, pretty usually. It's because we have to know that your job is just important to me as my job is to you, because the snap affects the hold and the hold affects the kick. So we all have to be on one wavelength and we all have to know and trust each other to do their job, but also help each other do each other's job. So I think having a relationship with those guys is one of the most important things like that you'll do in like college is having relationships with your teammates is very important. It affects a lot of how you play, it affects how you practice. And so the better relationship you have with them, the better you are going to be as a player.
So you talked about golfing before,
Mhm.
how it used to be your favorite sport. Are you still golfing?
Oh yeah, I just shot 71 last weekend.
Oh wow. Woo. Hey, that we gotta get into a golf tournament. You gotta get you
Oh
into
yeah, dude. I'm trying to get a golf NIL deal. I'm trying to find something. I'm trying to find a course up here or something. Yeah, I
Do you
love
have a
golf.
favorite
I
course
mean,
you've played at?
ooh. Yeah, I mean, I just played Pebble with my dad a couple months ago, and you can't beat Pebble. Pebble's amazing.
Mhm.
Um, we played a bunch of courses in Ireland, Port Monarch, Trump Doombeg. Those are some really nice courses. Yeah, I mean, I played a lot. I played a lot of different places. I love golf though. It's such a fun sport. I love it.
Yeah, we actually we cover the women's golf tournament LPGA.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we cover that here in New Jersey. It's called in
there
the
we
Upper
go.
Montclair Golf Course. Amazing experience covering these
Mhm.
women and talented young ladies there.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing how I mean golf is one of the toughest sports, also in my opinion.
Mhm.
Um, it's a great sport to cover and watch. It's all about in the mind,
Mhm.
and also about aim too. So which is
Yeah. So when I try to explain kicking to people, I usually use golf. Golf and kicking are very one and the same. Their swing paths are very similar. If you look at a driver swing path and you look at a kicker's leg swing path, it's almost you take the head of a driver and the foot of a kicker, and it's almost the exact same thing.
Yeah. Speaking of golf, yeah. If we need to get you a deal there, NIL deal or something.
Yeah.
So, before you know, it, you might be playing in a celebrity golf tournament with Seth Curry,
Hey, I
Travis
hope so.
Kelce.
I'll carry anyone's team who has me, especially up here, man. I kill my drives up here with that elevation.
Yeah.
Woo!
Hey, you'll be kicking 75-yard field goals.
I hope so.
Do you have any golfers that you've looked up to that have also maybe helped you with football?
Yeah, I think yes. I love Bubba, Phil Mickelson too. Jordan Spieth. Bubba gave me his when I was young, he gave me his pink driver shaft.
Oh wow.
So I got that hanging up on my wall. That's something real special to me. So I love golf, man. And looking up to those guys, you just look how calm and composed they are over the ball every time. And that's something that I look at is like these guys can be in some of the most stressful scenarios where it's a shot or two that they need to get and they can't mess up on, and they are always calm and collected. They always have little things that they do. And one of the best books I think you could read for golf or kicking is Golf Is Not a Game of Perfect by Bob Rotella. I just finished reading that, and it talks about how important the mental side of everything is, and how staying calm and collected and focusing on something other than what you're thinking about just helps you so much. And it's helped me a lot kicking and golfing as well.
Staying on the topic of family, obviously your father played in the NFL. What is it like meeting people through him, players that he's played with, and those connections that you've made because of him?
It's really cool, really really cool. I mean, I go on trips with him and we'll run into somebody. I'm like, I would never have met you in my life. Like, and you just get to have these conversations. And I think the longer I go into my career, the more time I've spent with him and meeting these type of people is I get to interact with them better. I know how to communicate with them. You meet a lot of people when they meet a celebrity for the first time. They're fanning out. They're all this stuff. Since I've been doing this since I was literally 4 years old, meeting people, it's allowed me to hold conversations and just interact way better in that atmosphere. And so it's been real beneficial to me just from the business side, making connections and relationship wise in sport world. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Okay.
Did growing up with a NFL player as a dad give you any sort of like special treatment in school? And then obviously you being a great athlete yourself.
Uh I mean, always. Yeah, you're never gonna escape it. I mean, when you have somebody who's, even though he's a kicker, I mean, he was in the NFL for a while. He was a great kicker, so there's always gonna be people who know you because you're dad, and still every single day, like there's stuff like that. I always tried to keep it on the down low. I never wanted to be the kid who was like, "Oh, well, my dad was kicking," like whatever. I hated that. I hated being only recognized by that, and so that's why I'm working now to only be like it recognized me by me. But there's the benefits too. I mean, it was fun and it was great, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But stuff like that, I mean, it's how you make it growing up and stuff like that. So yeah.
Can you talk about the struggle of trying to kick in a very bad weather scene? If
Oh
it's
yeah.
windy, rain.
I mean, even our spring game, we got out there to warm up, and there was still like 7 inches of snow on the ground that they were plowing with no tarp underneath. So we're like, uh-oh. So we get out there, it's slippery, it's wet. I mean, it's cold outside, all that stuff. So it really makes you focus on your fundamentals and really focus your mind on this is just another kick. It's no different. Like maybe there's a couple touches that you need to make. So I like when I went out there and saw the snow, I went and grabbed a different cleat to see if that was going to need it with a screw in cleat, so it like would be in the ground a little bit firmer. So there's a lot of different stuff like that, like maybe a deeper plant if it's a little wet on the ground. But really in games like that, you gotta just trust yourself and not really change too much, and just be really confident in yourself that you're gonna make that kick.
After your football career is over, could you also see yourself going into sportscasting?
I stutter a lot, a little bit. I stutter a little bit. I don't know if I'd be great at talking, but possibly. I definitely like to see where he kind of got the whole thing from and what made him pursue that career option. So who knows? I don't have no clue really what I'm gonna do after football. I might try to play golf. I might do something else, but God's got a plan for me, and I'm just gonna ride out everything He's got till I can do it.
What is the biggest piece of advice you've ever received and that still sticks with you today?
It's from my dad, and very recently. It's just kicking. It's just football. Like there's life after this. There's life out there after this. It's like you're focusing so much on this little tiny part of your life that these 4 years that I'll be here, 3 years that I'll be here left, is not to make it too much and too important in your life. You have to have balance. And if you go after one thing too hard, you can ruin the rest of that. So the biggest advice he's given me is it's just kicking. Enjoy it. Have fun. Hang out with your teammates. Build relationships. Work your butt off. Kick. However, if you go out there and you suck, who cares? It's just kicking. It's just college football. It's not what's going to be the rest of your life. So I think that's the best piece of advice I've received is just this is college football. It's supposed to be fun. Yeah, I'm going to work my butt off. If I suck, who gives a crap?
Yeah.
It's whatever. It's just a piece of my life. So I can't wait to work my butt off. I can't wait to kick. And I'm trying to go to the NFL. So I'm going to keep working at it. But that advice definitely allows me to be a little bit more freer, have some more fun with my life. And yeah, and that's how he always was. And it worked out for him too.
So your dad moved teams quite a few times. Did you have a favorite team growing up, or were you rooting for just
always,
whatever team?
always whatever team he was on. It was always that team. I was a bandwagon for life. Whatever team he was on, that's my team.